Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to episode 6 of Milo Murphy's Law. So before we begin, interestingly enough, this episode on the site I use was split into two, like 6A and 6B. So I actually had to download both. I didn't put them together, unfortunately. I just didn't even really think of it, honestly. So yeah, it's gonna basically be two half-length episodes, two half-length. I'm gonna start 6A, and afterwards I'll get right into 6B. I'll just bring it up. But yeah, so this series has been interesting so far. The characters are very likable. The situations are funny. I still think that Weird Al's voice is really, really, like, standing out, and not in a good way. It just doesn't fit Milo in terms of his personality or appearance at all. I mean, I love Weird Al, and I have no problem with his singing for the bits he's singing, but it's just always weird to hear Milo speaking with that voice. It just really is. And the only other big thing that I can say as a complaint for this, and by no means does this mean that I don't like the show, is that, again, it's very repetitive. Phineas and Ferb, also made by the same people, was very repetitive, but it was really unique in the way it handled it because each episode was so different that it didn't feel repetitive. This one, at first, felt like it was doing kind of the same deal, but it started to feel a lot more repetitive now. And it's like, I'm just really hoping they start to mix things up enough to really bring back that excitement and interest. I don't have really much of anything else to say, though. So I just really hope that this is a good episode. Yeah. In the meantime, though, thank you all so much for tuning in. And we're just going to get this going. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts, and will contain spoilers to the episode. So that being said, thank you so much once again, and for now, yeah, I will see you at the reaction. Okay, and we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. And there it was, the direct continuity from Phineas and Ferb. Now, I already knew, obviously, this does take place in the same world and same continuity and all. I did know that. I just wasn't expecting that. Because it's like, I remember that very strongly. The roller coaster and the magnet and all. And it's like, all right. But either way, let's just go in order here. So the first half of this, 6A, was a road trip episode. The Murphys went on a road trip. Basically their vacation. They're not going anywhere specifically, just traveling. Milo accidentally gets on the wrong RV at a gas station, and yeah, he ends up getting a family into Murphy's Law. I still think it would have been better if nothing unusual happened, but everything kept happening to the rest of Milo's family still. I think that would have just been beautifully ironic. But no, instead everything does happen, and the families all get into all kinds of trouble and everything. There's a Hamosaurus or Hamosaur or whatever. That's hilarious. And the other family, there's two daughters, these identical twins who are, again, I'm not sure if they're creepy or hilariously adorable. But they're bored of the same old trip every year, so they are excited by the changes and everything. During the episode, we saw Lard World, and that bridges us into 6B, because 6B has Milo and his friends, Melissa and Zach, going to Lard World. So here we find out that all three of our main characters have a fear that some would find rational, some would find irrational. Though, to be honest, Melissa's is the only one that I think anyone would find rational, and actually very, very common, as was pointed out by Zach. Melissa is afraid of roller coasters, and a lot of people are afraid of roller coasters. I personally am not really afraid of them. I'm not comfortable with them, but I'm not straight up afraid of them. Also, I can't fit on them because of my weight. I've actually tried, and I've actually had trouble with that before. So, and in general, yeah, I'm just not a fan. I'm a little uncomfortable with them, and it's just not my kind of thing in general. But yeah, so other than that, though, Milo is apparently afraid of Chinese finger traps, and it's kind of specifically implied that he's afraid of them because he doesn't know how they work. And Zach is afraid of fish, and it's never actually explained why or given any kind of context. He's just afraid of fish. Sure. So they try to help Melissa get over her fear of roller coasters by taking her on one. And she is really nervous about it, but she ends up going along with it. And yeah, Murphy's Law, shit goes down. And so it's like, everything works out for them in the end. They survive and everything as usual, but it's like, geez. And that's a thing. I mentioned this before, but that always happens. No matter what happens to them, they never actually get, like, legitimately hurt. They never get really badly injured or anything. At least not that we see. Because it is mentioned in these episodes that Milo has been struck by lightning twice. And presumably, I mean, unless you're just completely going by cartoon logic here, that would have sent him to the hospital. But other than like cuts or bruises, we haven't, other than the lightning and everything, we haven't actually been told of him getting any real big injuries. Most of the time, everyone comes out of it fine. There's a lot of property destruction, but everyone is fine. Yeah, these episodes were really, well, this episode, both parts of it, was really funny, really entertaining. It didn't really do a lot of things different, but the continuity with Phineas and Ferb really helped, I feel. And I really hope that they start implementing more of that. Like, again, just kind of stuff in the background, stuff that's not really hugely focused on. Like, maybe they're at the mall one day and someone runs by and mentions that there's a concert going on at the mall, calling back to the Gitchy Gitchy Goo song from Phineas and Ferb, which I believe that was at the mall. Now I'm questioning that. I believe that was at the mall. Either way, back to that, just like little things like that. And it all kind of works up to an actual crossover. That would be a good way to handle that. But either way, I did very much enjoy this episode. And yeah, hopefully next week's episode is just as entertaining. And yeah, speaking of, if you hadn't heard yet, if you didn't see my update before, yeah, the vacation that I was going to be going on next week because of the choir camp with my church, things have apparently not worked out, and I'm not going to be helping with that now, so sucks, but that does mean next week reactions will go on as normal. So yeah. But either way, tell me in the comments below what you thought of this episode of Milo Murphy's Law, and thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.
And though you've come through many obstacles,